I'm Paulina and I'm 28 years old, and boy, oh boy, do I have a story for you guys. This is the type of story that's going to make you laugh, cringe, and maybe even shake your head in disbelief. So there's me, Paulina, ready to spill the beans on how I went from 2 failed marriages to finding true love with my man, Sean. I'm talking about the real deal here. Sean got me in a way that no one ever did. He was like the missing puzzle piece that suddenly made my life make sense. It was like all those rom-com cliches had come to life, and I was loving every minute of it. But of course, there's always a little drama in the mix, right? Enter Sean's twin sister, Hannah. Now, let me tell you, she's a whole different story. Bitter, attention-seeking, and just downright annoying. I mean, the girl practically had drama queen tattooed on her forehead. Wedding preparations were in full swing, and guess who decided to insert herself right into the chaos? You got it, Hannah. Suddenly, she was an expert on flowers, venues, and cake flavors. Like, girl, calm down, you're not the bride here. Sean, bless his heart, would tell me to just let it slide and let her have her moments because she was excited. But man, oh man, there was only so much I could take. Picture this, a cake tasting. Me, Sean, Hannah, and her boyfriend, Bjorn. Please don't ask me why we agreed to bring them along with us. We're all sitting there ready to sample some sweet goodness. And then it happened. Hannah started with her suggestions on which flavor would be the best. I don't know if it was the stress or the sugar high, but I lost it. Right there in front of everyone. Sean, Hannah, Bjorn, they all got a front row seat to me snapping like a rubber band. I told Hannah how it was, how this was my wedding, not hers. I may or may not have used a few choice words in the process. You know, Paulina, I really like the raspberry filling. I think it would go so well with the vanilla sponge. You two should do this. Oh, really, Hannah? Because I was thinking the complete opposite. Come on, guys, can we not turn this into a debate? Well, I just thought since I have a good eye for these things, Hannah, for the love of all things sweet, this is my wedding, not yours. Can you for 1 second let me make decisions about my own day? Paulina, calm down. Let's not make a scene. No, Sean, this needs to be said. Hannah, I get it. You want to be involved, but this isn't your wedding. It's mine. And I've had enough of you acting like you're the one getting married. Excuse me? You heard me. I'm tired of your constant suggestions, your opinions, and your need to make everything about you. This is my moment, my day, and I won't let you take that away from me. Okay, let's all take a breather here. No, Sean, this has to be said. Hannah, I respect you're his sister, but that doesn't give you the right to overshadow me and my choices. So do us all a favor and back off. I was just trying to help. Help? No, you're trying to control everything. But guess what? This isn't your show. So either you respect that or you leave. Maybe we should go. Yeah, I think that's best. Goodbye. Hannah turned 50 shades of red, and Bjorn looked like he wanted to sink into the floor. And that's how it went down, folks. I laid it all out there and told Hannah what was what. Sometimes you've got to put people in their place, especially when they're trying to hijack your big day. All right, buckle up, folks, because this story is far from over. So after the whole cake tasting showdown, Sean and I finally got home. But you know what? Sean wasn't exactly thrilled about how I had lost my cool back there. Babe, I get that Hannah was being annoying, but yelling like that in front of everyone? You're better than that. Sean, she needed someone to put her in her place. If you had stood up for me earlier, maybe it wouldn't have come to this. Yeah, You heard that right. I was standing my ground, unapologetic for finally telling Hannah off. And honestly, she had it coming. You can only deal with someone's drama for so long before you explode like a shaken soda can. She was asking for it at that point. A few more weeks rolled by and peace had finally returned to our lives. Hannah wasn't around to insert her opinions into every little thing, and I was starting to believe that maybe, just maybe, my perfect wedding was actually going to happen. But, and oh boy, isn't there always a but in these stories, I received a text from Hannah. At first, I thought maybe she was apologizing or trying to make amends. But oh no, it was something else entirely. She texted, "I don't want you anywhere near the wedding, okay? I'm planning on proposing to Bjorn and I don't need you ruining things. I don't care that you're Eric's real dad. Just leave me alone." Confused doesn't even begin to cover what I was feeling. Like what? Proposing Eric's real dad? Did she send this to the wrong person? Instead of replying right away, I did what any sane person would do. I screenshotted that message and put my phone away. You see, sometimes silence is the best response. And this was a whole new level of Hannah's drama. And honestly, I wasn't about to dive headfirst into it. Nope. I was going to sit back, let the confusion simmer, and watch from the sidelines. But she did say one thing that made my ears perk up. Propose at the wedding? Certainly, she didn't mean my wedding, because I would go ballistic. I don't know about y'all, but nothing grinds my gears more than people proposing at other people's weddings. Like, have you no shame? That is someone else's special day, and you want to take advantage of all the glitz and the glam to propose and take the attention away from the couple? Some people need some serious therapy. I was growing angry as I was trying to connect the dots, and what I concluded was that this person who Hannah originally wanted to text was in fact her son's biological father. This is crazy to think about because this entire time we all believed it was Bjorn who was the father of her baby. Eric. Chile, the tea. Anyway, I kept this to myself. I probably should have told Sean about it, but I knew that he would want to take the high road and gather everyone for some kumbaya. Me, on the other hand, I was feeling a little petty, a little violent, if you will. And if this heifer thought that she could get away with proposing at my wedding, then she got another thing coming. But I had to find out some more information. I had to know who she was talking to. So I decided to meet up with her. All right, hang on tight because we're about to dive into the next chapter of this roller coaster ride. So there I was, plotting my next move after receiving that cryptic text from Hannah about proposing to Bjorn and telling me to stay away from the wedding. And trust me, I had a trick up my sleeve. I decided to meet up with Hannah too. Well, fake apologies for my little outburst at the cake tasting. You should have seen her face light up when I suggested it. She was probably thinking she had won or something. But little did she know I was playing chess, not checkers. While Hannah was off to use the restroom, I seized the opportunity. Yep, you guessed it. I sneaked a peek at her phone. I had a feeling that there was more to her story, and I was ready to uncover it. My heart was racing. My hands were shaky, but I had to do it. I needed answers. First things first, I searched for the name Eric, and there it was, a chat between her and me, where she sent text that she still hadn't deleted. Honestly, it's like she wanted to get caught. But right beneath it was another chat. Paul, bingo. I had found a new lead. I quickly opened the chat. Scanning through the messages, there was a lot of talk about Eric, but I couldn't focus on it properly. I was too afraid that Hannah might return and catch me in the act. So what did I do? I took a screenshot of Paul's number and put Hannah's phone back exactly where I found it. Mission accomplished. Now, I could investigate this Paul guy on my own terms. Hannah returned, and I had to keep on the fake smile I plastered on for her. It felt like this was lasting forever, but finally it was over. After Hannah got her fake reassurance, we parted ways and went to our respective homes. Once I was safe and sound, I grabbed my own phone and dialed a number. The suspense was killing me, and I needed to know what was going on. Who was this Paul? And what was his connection to Hannah? My heart was pounding as I waited for him to answer. After snagging Paul's number from Hannah's phone, I decided it was time to make the call. I was home alone, surrounded by silence and a whole lot of suspense. My fingers dialed the digits and my heart was pounding like a drum. Hello, is this Paul? Yeah, who's this? With a deep breath, I launched into the heart of the matter. I asked him if he knew Hannah and Eric, and what he revealed had my jaw on the floor. Paul, the guy on the other end of the line, was Hannah's ex and Eric's father. Yeah, you heard me right. The plot was thicker than a Shakespearean drama, confirming my suspicions. Wait, so you're Eric's dad? Yeah, that's right. Why do you ask? Well, I'm Paulina, and I'm with Sean. Hannah's my sister-in-law. The pieces started falling into place, and as I connected the dots, I realized what had happened. Hannah had meant to text Paul, not me. And in her haste or confusion, she had sent that text about wanting Paul nowhere near the wedding and denying him as Eric's real dad to me instead. Talk about a text message mix-up of epic proportions. I took a deep breath and shared the text message with Paul. Let me tell you, he was not happy. He was upset that Hannah had stooped so low as to deny him as Eric's real dad. But that wasn't all. He dropped a bombshell. He was still in love with her. Even after everything, he still had feelings for the woman who had caused so much confusion and chaos. Oh my God, this all makes sense now. Our names are so similar. Paulina and Paul. Yeah, I can see how that could happen. We've been fighting recently because I wanted to get back with her, but she's been denying me, talking big about this Bjorn guy who she's apparently in love with. I get not wanting to get back together, but lying about paternity? She's crazy. I don't even know how you had a baby with her. What can I say? Love can make you do stupid things, so now you think she's going to propose at your wedding, right? Unless there's another upcoming wedding she's referring to, I believe she's going to do it at mine, yes. Paul was cursing on the other line, frustrated no doubt. This was a lot to handle. I'm sorry you're dealing with all this, Paul. Yeah, it's a mess. After my little chat with Paul, I had a plan. A plan that involved turning the tables on Hannah and making her sweat for a change. Revenge, you say? Oh yeah, revenge never tasted so sweet. So instead of outright confronting Hannah with the news of my discovery, I decided to play it cool. Oh, but it wasn't just any cool, it was the calm before the storm. I told Paul that we would act like we knew nothing, that our revenge would be much sweeter if we stuck to the plan we were concocting. Let's play this smart, Paul. We're not giving her the satisfaction yet. I'm all in, Paulina. Let's make her squirm. After some more scheming and a bit of laughter, we hung up. Little did Hannah know that she had just activated her own downfall. Fast forward a month and it was the big day, the wedding day. Sean and I were all smiles after the ceremony, celebrating with friends and family. Everything was picture perfect, and even the weather was cooperating. I excused myself to freshen up during the reception, waiting patiently for the plan to fall into place, and sure enough, who should come waltzing in wearing that wicked grin of hers? None other than Hannah herself. Oh, Paulina, how's the newlywed life treating you? Oh, you know, just enjoying every moment. Well, I've got something up my sleeve, too. Ah, here it was, the moment of truth. Hannah was about to drop her bomb, and she was convinced that I would crumble. But you know what? Revenge had made me stronger, and I was ready. In the next 5 minutes, I'm going to propose to Bjorn, and guess what, Paulina? There's absolutely nothing you can do to stop me. I'm going to steal your moment and embarrass you the same way you embarrass me. Oh, honey, are you still upset that I put you in your place? Put me in my place? You think I'm some kid or something? You know, I almost wanted to call it off. But now that you've said that, I'm going to propose and steal your thunder. Surprise, surprise, I didn't flinch. Instead, I let out a little chuckle that seemed to infuriate her even more. Revenge was sweet, but revenge with a side of calm. Now that was a whole new level. Well, Hannah, I'm truly impressed by your determination. Go ahead, do your thing. And just like that, she was left baffled, her wicked grin faltering as I brushed her off. She stuttered something about how embarrassed I would be, but I just waved her off as she stormed out of the room. Once she left, I called Paul and told him that the plan was a go and it was time to shine. After that cunning conversation with Paul and my oh-so-satisfying exchange with Hannah, it was time to put my plan into action, and let me tell you, I was ready to bring the house down. Leaving the room, I took a deep breath and headed back to the scene. Hannah had everyone's attention. She was up to something and she was about to make her big announcement. But there was one little thing she hadn't counted on. The storm that was about to hit. Excuse me, everyone. Can I have your attention? I caught her eyes, and my own smirk was a mirror of hers. But before she could dive into her speech about love and commitment, the doors burst open, causing a stir of commotion. Who else but Paul, storming into the hall like a tempest. Hannah, we need to talk. In a matter of seconds, the room was buzzing with whispers and hushed conversations, everyone wondering what in the world was going on. Hannah's confident facade faltered as her face paled, clearly caught off guard by Paul's unexpected entrance. Desperate to regain control of the situation, Hannah attempted to divert the attention from the disturbance. She started spouting nonsense about the weather and some random anecdotes, but it was clear she was grasping at straws. As Hannah stammered through her attempt at damage control, I took my chance. With a determined stride, I marched up to her and snatched the microphone right out of her hand. The room fell silent, and all eyes were on me. Thank you, Hannah. It's always great to hear your interesting stories. I saw confusion in Sean's eyes, Bjorn's eyes, and even in the eyes of everyone else in the room. This was it, the moment of truth. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure you're all curious about what's happening. Hannah was about to propose to her baby daddy, Bjorn, which is all well and good. And I'm so sorry for spoiling the moment, Bjorn, but I think it's important for everyone to know the truth. A hushed tension filled the room, and you could practically feel the collective curiosity of every single person there. The tension in the room was thicker than a stack of pancakes, and the spotlight was shining brightly on Hannah. Revenge was about to bring the truth to light, and oh boy, it was a sight to behold. Paul strode up to the stage, a force to be reckoned with, and he had the receipts to prove it. With a triumphant grin, he held up a stack of papers, paternity test results, and documents of child support payments showcasing that he was Eric's real dad. The room was so still you could hear a pin drop, and everyone's eyes were glued to the evidence in Paul's hands. Ladies and gentlemen, I stand before you as Eric's real father. And I wanted you all to know that Hannah is one of the most despicable, conniving women I've ever met. To Bjorn. Bro, I don't really know you, but Paulina and I thought it was best if you knew the truth before getting tied down to her, because I guarantee you, it's going to be hell. The gasps and whispers rippled through the crowd, and the shock was palpable. Hannah's face turned white as a sheet, and her eyes were wide with panic. She tried to snatch the microphone from Paul, but he held his ground. "Don't listen to any of this. He's lying." But the room wasn't buying it. Paulina and I had the stage now, and it was time to lay it all out on the table. I took a deep breath and addressed the room. "Hannah, looks like you got a lot of explaining to do." The crowd leaned in, hanging on to every word. Revenge was about to serve up its main course, the unvarnished truth. You see, we found out about Paul and his connection to Eric through an unexpected text message. I'd like to read that text for all of you. I revealed my phone and read out Hannah's text message, the one where she denied Paul's role as Eric's father and talked about her plan to propose to Bjorn. Oh boy, her face turned the brightest shade of red, and the realization of her own blunder hit her like a ton of bricks. The room erupted into a chorus of boos, hisses, and murmurs. The jig was up, and Hannah was exposed for the schemer she was. She crumbled before our eyes, tears streaming down her face as she finally faced the consequences of her actions. Meanwhile, Bjorn didn't utter a word. He simply turned on his heel and left the event, his anger and disappointment evident in every step. And as for Sean, well, he let loose a torrent of shouted accusations at Hannah for all her lies and deception, calling her down from the stage and giving her a verbal ear-beating. As the truth came crashing down, me and Paul shared a knowing look. Revenge had done its job, and Hannah's carefully constructed facade had crumbled to pieces. The entitlement, the attitude, it all fell away, leaving behind a woman who was finally facing the consequences of her actions. Hannah kept on looking at me with a look of pure disdain as Sean was shouting. The MC tried to do damage control by letting the guests return to their seats and get some more food. I blew a kiss and winked at Hannah, letting her know that she could never try and upstage me. One thing about me is that when people go low, I go even lower, all the way to hell. And that girl learned not to play with me that day, I'll tell you that. Turns out I had the perfect wedding after all. I married my husband, and I got some good entertainment too.